title. He might win this match, he might win a few matches, but at some point someone's going to come out and play lights out snooker and you don't know what to do. Do you see what I'm saying? And I don't want to be that person. I want to be that person that plays the game, a winning game, at all times. If my game's on and I'm playing, I'll win. If I ain't, you know, it's one of them things. I'm not going negative.
When you think of snooker, there's a good chance that Ronnie O'Sullivan immediately springs to mind. The Rocket, as he's affectionately known, has been a dominating force in the world of snooker for nearly 3 decades, with 7 world championships, 23 Triple Crown titles, and a reputation for mind-blowing shots and break building. O'Sullivan has been the face of snooker for years. But now, as 2025 unfolds, there's an undeniable feeling that Ronnie is about to do what many thought he might never do again: take over snooker. And in a way, that's going to leave everyone in awe. We've all heard the chatter. Is Ronnie O'Sullivan past his prime? Has the Rocket lost his touch? But those who've doubted him have been proven wrong, especially in the last few months. The 2024 festive season saw O'Sullivan showcase some of his finest snooker in Macau, of all places.
And Ronnie, first up, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, not too bad.
Now, obviously, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you about your withdrawal. Was it a tough decision?
Yeah, it was a nightmare decision, really, to make. You know, if you'd have asked me Sunday was I ready to play, I probably would have been okay to play. But it's such a massive tournament, and I've obviously been on a 3-week trip away playing, and I just think I just exhausted myself. You know, a lot of pressure while I was away, and I just think the build-up of all that kind of just got a bit too much.
In a string of challenge matches, the Rocket took down some of the toughest competitors in the sport. In his match against world champion Kyron Wilson, O'Sullivan made a statement: back-to-back centuries that not only secured the win, but reminded everyone of the raw brilliance he's known for. He didn't stop there. His 5-1 victory over Stuart Bingham was just as impressive, with 3 centuries, including one break of 134, followed by another with 116. You could almost feel the snooker world collectively holding its breath, wondering if this was a sign of what's to come. As O'Sullivan gears up for his defense of the Masters title at Alexandra Palace in January 2025, it's clear that he's more focused than ever. Ronnie has often spoken about how important the Masters is to him, and with his current form, it's hard to imagine anyone beating him. The first match against his old rival John Higgins on January the 12th is going to be an electrifying affair. But what's different this time? O'Sullivan himself has mentioned that he's not been involved in as many tournaments this season. He's been selective, focusing on quality over quantity. This means he's fresher, more energized, and hungrier than ever to prove himself. He knows his limitations. He's admitted that while he hasn't won a title this season yet, it doesn't bother him. After all, no one is perfect, and O'Sullivan is well aware of the unpredictability of the sport. But this year it feels different. He's chosen to play fewer events, which means that when he does show up, he's in peak form. A snooker player at his level doesn't just show up, he arrives with purpose. So what makes Ronnie O'Sullivan so dangerous in 2025? It's simple. He's mastered the art of evolution. Ronnie has never been a player to rest on his laurels. He's always looking for ways to adapt, and this is evident in his recent performances. His game continues to evolve, and it's this adaptability that gives him an edge over his younger opponents. But there's more to it than just raw talent and experience. Ronnie's mentality has shifted. He's become more strategic in his approach to the game. He's acknowledged that the calendar is long and grueling, and he's been smarter in choosing which events to enter. This selective participation ensures that when he does show up, he's at his best. In Macau, O'Sullivan spoke about how he hasn't played enough competitive matches this season. While this might sound like a setback, it's actually an advantage. By playing fewer events, he's kept himself sharp without overexerting himself. For a player like O'Sullivan, this gives him the opportunity to peak at the right times. And as we've seen in the past, when Ronnie O'Sullivan peaks, there's very little anyone can do to stop him. One thing that has always set O'Sullivan apart is his mindset. Despite his success, he constantly pushes himself to be better. Even in Macau, where he was clearly the best player on the table, he talked about how he still strives to improve. The Rocket isn't one to sit back and rest on his accomplishments. He relishes challenges and adversity, always looking for the next hurdle to jump over. In a sport like snooker, where mental strength is just as important as technical ability, O'Sullivan's relentless drive to improve is a huge factor in his ongoing success. While many players would be content with their legacy, Ronnie's drive to be better and to adapt to the game means he's always going to be a threat to the competition. He's never satisfied, and that's what keeps him at the top. Looking ahead, the 2025 Masters is shaping up to be an incredible event, with O'Sullivan at the center of it all. His match against John Higgins will be a showdown of two of the most successful players in snooker history. But beyond that, it's clear that O'Sullivan's goals are far from finished. The World Championship title might be a natural target for him, but the growing challenge from players like Judd Trump, Neil Robertson and Mark Selby will keep him on his toes. However, Ronnie's ability to handle pressure and his appetite for titles makes him more than capable of battling for the top spot once again. Beyond the Masters, O'Sullivan is setting his sights on a very specific approach for the future. He's already said that he'll focus on the best 10 tournaments in 2025. This strategic selection gives him the perfect balance of competitive fire and the ability to take time for rest and recovery. Ronnie has been through the highs and lows of his career, and now he's playing smarter than ever. Another reason why O'Sullivan is poised for another run at the top is his undeniable influence on the game of snooker. He's been a pioneer, an ambassador for the sport, and an inspiration to countless young players. Whether it's his raw talent, his ability to entertain, or his mental resilience, Ronnie O'Sullivan has shaped snooker in ways that few other players ever could. It's no surprise that O'Sullivan has become a global ambassador for the game, with growing interest in snooker across the world. From his work in Macau to his ongoing efforts to grow the sport in places like Hong Kong, Ronnie is as much an ambassador as he is a player. The legacy he's building now is one of influence and greatness. So, why is Ronnie O'Sullivan about to take over snooker again? It's simple. He's still got it. He's more focused, more strategic, and more hungry for success than ever before. After a festive campaign in Macau filled with impressive victories, he's entering 2025 with a chip on his shoulder, ready to defend his Masters title and chase more glory. And that's a wrap for this video. Do you think Ronnie will be dominating the snooker world in 2025? Let us know in the comments. For more snooker content, click on the screen right now.